I'm Akiko Mizuguchi. Thanks for checking my channel, BL with Akiko. In this video, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm a queer visual culture theorist based in Yokohama, Japan. The idea to start this channel to celebrate BL, boys love, with English-speaking fans came to me during my fellowship year at the Suzy Newhouse Center for the Humanities at Wellesley College in the state of Massachusetts, USA, in the suburbs of Boston. That was between fall 2021 and spring 2022. And thanks to Hiroki Iwasa, my longtime friend, who agreed to be a technical staff, BL with Akiko channel was launched on September 13, 2022. I also thank Kiara Liu, who initially helped me as my student assistant at Wellesley. I'm the author of 2 scholarly books on BL. The first book Theorizing BL as a transformative genre, Boys Love Moves the World Forward. In Japanese, BL 進化論 Boys Love が世界を動かす。This book was published in 2015 in Japan and has been translated into Chinese and Korean. My second book, Theorizing BL as a Transformative Genre, Dialogue Edition, Visiting the Site Where Boys Love is Born, in Japanese, BL 進化論対話編 Boys Love が生まれる場所 was published in 2017 in Japan and has been translated into Chinese. I have published several scholarly essays in English, and I'm now preparing the English language book. By the way, I was and still am extremely honored that Asumiko Nakamura drew original illustrations for the jackets of my books. And also the covers. As you can see, they are the same characters many years later, perhaps 30 or 40 years. While the globalization of BL has mainly happened in the 21st century, in Japan the commercial BL industry emerged in the 1990s. The precursors of BL include beautiful boy comics, Bishonen manga, or Boys Love, Shonen Ai manga, within the girls' comics, shoujo manga genre in the 1970s and 80s. If we include literature, I identify Mary Mori's 1961 novella Lovers' Woods, 恋人たちの森 as the origin of the larger BL phenomenon. I have argued in my books how the beautiful male characters function not only as the objects of desire for female artists and readers, but also as these women's agents. The beautiful male characters are not the other two women fans, but themselves. That is a reason why extremely intense friendship and even romantic same-sex relationships between male characters were invented for young female readership in 1970 Japan, when homosexuality was defined as mental illness, perversity, and dirty secret in mainstream media. And after the 1990s saw the emergence of popularized, sexualized, and formulaic BL stories in which the protagonists insist, after the romance is consummated, "I'm not gay, I just love you because you are you," and so forth, commercial BL genre has started to produce narratives that show the protagonists and subsidiary characters struggle to transcend homophobia, especially in this century. I grew up reading the 1970s and 80s beautiful boy comics. It was in late 1998 when I started graduate study in the program of Visual and Cultural Studies at the University of Rochester, New York State, and reading the texts of critical theory, including queer theory, which challenged my essentialist notion of lesbian identity. That was when I realized I was able to grow up without internalizing homophobia, thanks to these manga works of the 70s and 80s. Among many examples, I will discuss two today. One is Mari to Shingo, which had a huge impact on me, as one of the protagonists, Mari Takato, a biracial boy with German mother and Japanese father, the one with the longer hair here, became clearly aware that his feelings towards his best friend, Shingo Innami, the boy with the shorter hair and a hat, has become romantic. In the story, there's even a moment when Shingo declares his romantic love towards Mari. This paperback copy was published in 1979. I've kept it since 1979. I think I looked like this. I'm covering my friend's face. So I was reading Mari to Shingo when I was much younger. Even earlier than that, I so wanted to become beautiful boy vampires, Edgar and Allan of the Po clan, Po no Ichizoku in Japanese. The bigger face with flowing curly hair is Edgar, and the blonde one in the back is Allan, with their human classmate Killian in front, in this illustrated jacket of the paperback, which was published in 1974. This photograph of me, I think, comes from the around that time, 1974. Edgar was made into a vampire earlier, and after Edgar's sister Mary Bell dies or disintegrates, Edgar takes Allan as his companion, makes him a vampire too. They both look 13-year-olds forever. Although they're not lovers, they mutually need each other at such a fundamental level that they are rightly called the ultimate couple, I think. 6 episodes of Po Clan were translated into English by Rachel Thorne and was published as this big coffee table edition. So those interested should really read it. It's a great story, and the artist resumed serialization in 2016 after 40 years of hiatus, and this incident drew national attention. Anyways, so if I may repeat myself, I grew up reading these and other beautiful boy comics that depict same-sex relationships in a positive manner. So when I grew up to realize that I was also homosexual, lesbian, I was able to accept the fact with a relative ease, or even some sort of pride. Because even though medical and popular media defined homosexuality as mental illness and dirty secret, my manga stories portrayed them in positive and aestheticized ways. My feeling towards a member of the same sex is the same as Mari Takato's one, so it can't be a bad thing. I was feeling something like that. When I realized how the 1970s Beautiful Boy comics impacted my value systems in such a fundamental way, I wanted to find out more about the larger BL genre, because by 1998, the commercial BL industry emerged and there were over 1 million women readers. My initial question I was asking to myself was, are these women fans all lesbians? If not, how can they remain to be heterosexual while they create and read male-male romantic fictions all the time? I clearly remember the moment when I consulted my then advisor, Professor Douglas Crimp, who sadly passed away in 2019, and this is from his memorial in late 2019. In fact, Douglas knew about BL because when he visited Japan in 1994 for the satellite events at the International AIDS Conference, some people took him to a bookstore to show him shelves full of BL manga paperbacks. Openly gay scholar specializing in the politics of representation, Douglas encouraged me to pursue the topic of BL, and that was the reason why I was able to work on BL as my PhD project since late 1998. I received my PhD in 2008. So those were the times when, in Japan in general, BL tended to be regarded as just an entertainment genre for strange women who somehow liked male-male romantic narratives and not male-female narratives. So BL then, I said in Japan in general, but I would say globally as well, then BL was not considered as worthy of academic analysis. But Douglas was different. Now, so that's how I have been working on BL as a scholar and a fan for over 20 years. Now, before closing my introduction, lastly but not least, I'd like to explain why I have included the sentence, "This channel discourages scanlation because of its negative impact on the manga artists and the publishers," in the description for this channel. As many of you know, scanlation is a relatively recent term that combines scan and translation. It's a pirate, illegal edition of the internet age. Even in the case where the people who do scan and translate and post the scanlations are not making any profit, scanlations steal business from the legitimate translations that happen usually after a couple of months of the publication of the original Japanese editions. Because many people have already read the illegal scanlated editions and they don't purchase the legitimate ones. The local publishers lose business that way. And eventually, sometimes they even have to stop licensing Japanese BL manga. When that happens, manga artists and publishers in Japan lose international business. This is an evil consequence of scanlations. So please refrain from engaging in scanlation. And please also refrain from reading scan-related editions and support the publishers and platforms that provide legitimate translations. I can tell you one good news. That is that the Japanese publishers are trying to solve the problem. Editor Mr. Kumagai of Shinshokan has said that the reason why Scarlett Beriko Sensei's upcoming 2 volumes of Hosaka-kun to Miyoshi-san are scheduled to be sold on the same day, November 1st, 2022, in Japan, Korea, and Taiwan, is to eliminate the motivation for the fans to access illegal translations, scanlations. He has also told me that he will work hard to add other languages to current Korean and Chinese, so hopefully in not the distant future, the simultaneous global release will happen. That's it. Thanks for watching. Bye.